Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we are looking at another band I've not heard of before. With it being the beginning of the month, we are once again looking at another Patreon request from Mistress Vicious, and today she's asked me to look at a band called Freeze the Fall. Never heard of them, so of course I wanted to find out some information about them, and that proved to be quite hard. But I have found a very limited amount of information about them, so here we go. Freeze the Fall are a Canadian rock band coming from Kelowna, British Columbia, I hope I pronounced that correctly, consisting of Quinn, aged 70, Aria, aged 15, and Jonah, aged 16, so it's a very young band. Freeze the Fall embodies the essence of extraordinary musicianship, with Quinn leading the charge on vocals and guitar, Aria providing thunderous bass lines and backup vocals, and Jonah keeping rhythm flowing on the drums. The journey began with a shared passion for creating music that resonates with the soul, drawing inspiration from the world around them. With music giants like Spiritbox, Architects, The Warning, Bring Me the Horizon, and more sort of inspiring them. Freeze the Fall crafts songs that speak to the human experience in all of its complexities. So there you go, that's all the information I could really find about the band. It's not very much, but that's what I got. Now, Mistress Vicious has specifically asked me to look at the track Daughters of Witches. I have no idea what this band's going to sound like. I mean, the best description I got is they're a rock band, and that's about it. Now, last time Mistress Vicious suggested a rock band for me, that band was The Warning, and I was hugely surprised and very pleasantly surprised by that band, and I have become quite a big fan of that band. So I'm curious to see what this band is like. Now, I have some lyrics here, which I'm hoping are going to be correct. I mean, they come straight from Google, but, you know, Google have been more or less reliable over the time I've been doing these videos, but, yes, we'll see what we have. But before we do that, if you could just take a moment to like and subscribe if you haven't already, I would really, really appreciate it. You know, I've been doing this for about 6 years at this precise moment, and not even 3% of people watching my videos are actually subscribed, which is a little disheartening. You know, so if you could like and subscribe, you know, it'd really, really help me out. It doesn't cost you anything, it takes a fraction of a second, and would make the biggest difference to this channel. But now, with all that said, let's see what we've got. So this is Daughters of Witches by Freeze the Fall. Let's have a look. And there you go. Daughters of Witches by Freeze the Fool. Pretty damn good. This is another one of, the singer, I can't remember what her name is. Quinn? Very powerful voice. And, she's, 17 years old? Or at the time of this article that I'm reading, she was 17 years old. Who knows how old they are now. But still, incredibly powerful voice. Very, very forceful voice. Very, very impressive. And musically, quite chunky, quite heavy. Whether it says it's a rock band. Yeah, it says reminiscent of grungy rock era of the 90s. I don't know about that. I wouldn't say grungy rock, but it's quite heavy. Very bass forward. You could hear the bass guitar very, very well. And I have said this on hundreds of occasions. People are probably sick of hearing me saying it. But I like the sound of a bass guitar. And the bass guitar is one of those instruments, it seems to almost always get lost in the mix. It sort of melts into the background and you can't really hear it very prominently. I mean, obviously it's still there and you'd notice if it wasn't, but normally you don't really hear it. It's not normally so well defined within the music that you can actually pick it out. But here, you really could, even just like the opening couple of bars, you could really hear it and it sounded really good. And again, but with it being a 3-piece band, obviously you would expect to hear it better, because normally when you've got like a 4 or 5-piece band, you've got like 2 or 3 other guitars that would probably tend to drown out the bass guitar, but you could really, really hear it here, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, a very well performed piece of music, and like I said, all of them are very, very young. There's Quinn, 17, Aria, the girl on the bass, is only 15, and Jonah on the drums is 16. So, they're all quite young. And to be performing to this level is very impressive. And, the actual writing of the music, the actual song itself, the performance, it was all very, very good. I like it. Quite heavy, quite chunky, pretty good. Now, the song is called Daughters of Witches. I have no idea why, because that phrase never even gets mentioned or alluded to within the lyrics. And I'm not entirely certain what exactly the song is about. Because it said, they tried to speak to real world experience and all its complexity. So there's obviously something to this, and it seems to be like power hungry, like world leaders sort of thing, possibly. I mean, there is the line, nations hide their eyes. So that's like, countries turning a blind eye to whatever is this rising power who's trying to take over, possibly. But anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. Because it opens with, somber dusky day, they control everything that I can't even try this again. Somber dusky day, they control everything that I can't even open my mouth to say. Too much is vain, too little shows that you're drained. You want me to bow down, imagining your crown. Oh, they're taking us for free. Cannot win the game because it was made to put me to shame. So there's a couple of opening lines there. Somber dusky day doesn't really say, suggesting a dark day. But it's the next couple of lines that make the difference here. They control everything that I can't even open my mouth to say. This is like the government's sort of saying what you can and cannot say, or even the media perhaps, because the media has a penchant for feeding us false information and leading us down a path thinking that what they're saying is true when in fact it's not, and that's essentially controlling what we say because we pass this information on to other people. But again, there's also these governments that have a way of sort of censoring people. If you speak out against something and the government don't like it, they're going to find a way to shut you down. They're going to find a way to shut you up. And there are many, many, many corrupt politicians. Well, I don't think there's a single straight politician in the bloody world. every politician is out for themselves, and they will do anything and everything to silence the people who are naysaying against them. And they control everything I can't even open my mouth to say. So, I want to say things, but these higher ups, these people sitting in their ivory towers, are controlling what I say, but I can't even open my mouth to say it because they're shutting me up, they're censoring me, essentially. Too much in vain, too little shows that you're drained. You want me to bow down, imagining your crown. So you want me to pledge fealty to you. I don't recognise you as my leader. I don't recognise you as the power that you claim to be. You want me to come crawling to you saying, yes, I pledge allegiance to you. But I don't recognise it because that, imagining your crown, that is no crown you're wearing. You're not the boss of me. I do not align myself with your supposed leadership. Again, this is what it suggests to me. I could be way off base. They're taking us free. Cannot win this game because it was made to put me to shame. There is essentially nothing we can do. We can try a revolt, we can try to fight against it, but the thing is, these corrupted asshats, I could name quite a few of them, like the Tory party in the UK, a certain orange goblin over in America, there's always people that for some fucked up reason think that they are right, even though they are the most corrupt people on the planet. And then you've got people like the current ruler of Russia, who, he's been in power for how long, and there's no way he can be dethroned, as it were, because anybody who speaks out against him is silenced, as it were. That's basically the state of the governments around the world, and I can't win this game because no matter what I do, no matter what I say, I'm going to get silenced, or I'm going to get pushed to the side, ignored, or beaten down by the army of mindless peons who can't think for themselves, that think that they're right, Then it goes into the chorus. Nations hide their eyes, rose gold chains for us, but I smile. Didn't ask for it and never justified, we carry the world. So nations hide their eyes, other countries just sort of turn away and go, it's nothing to do with us, I'm not getting involved, And that's another level of fucked upness, because like when it's some power like America, for example, when they had a certain corrupt president, nobody was willing to do anything about it. But then you get other countries, like, say, in the Middle East, where they have a certain corrupt political leader. Everybody feels like it's their job to get involved, to quiet him down, to shut him up, to silence him. It's a bit of a double standard. And I'm not saying, silencing people is the right thing to do, because obviously it's not. War is not the answer. Violence is never an answer. But why is it okay to silence one but not the other? Anyway, rose gold chains for us, but I smile. So, they're trying to quell us. They're trying to bribe us essentially with pretty things, by the sounds of things. They're making us promises, or they're going, here, have this will make you like me, and you're like, I'm not falling for this shit, I know you're an asshat. I didn't ask for it, never justified. There's no good reason for them behaving like that. The entirety of the political world is in for it for themselves. They don't care about the people they're supposed to be serving. They're just in it for themselves. They just want to make themselves and their friends richer whilst treading on the heads of us, the poor people. And there's that line from V for Vendetta. People shouldn't fear their governments. Governments should fear their people. we shouldn't be afraid of how the government behaves, because the government is supposed to be working in our interest, but they're not. They're working in their own, so they should be afraid that we're going to turn on them. But of course, they're all protected by like a multitude of armed people, because, you know, they know that they done fucked up. They know that they're corrupt and that they're doing ridiculous things that are just fucking messed up. And, you know, they're scared of the fact that we are going to turn on them, which is why they have so many armed people around them. Anyway, her hands were shaking as Death spoke to her. Stare into my eyes as I go up in flames. You try to pass me pain, but I'm taking you too. When they hear my voice, I promise I will freeze the flame. I missed that bit because that kind of alludes to witches. You know, her hands were shaking as Death spoke to her. Stare into my eyes as I go up in flames. You know, essentially burning at the stake. And, you know, this essentially here suggests a witch hunt. You know. And these are like the people who speak out against these corrupt, fucked up people. You know, her hands were shaking as Death spoke to her, staring into my eyes as I go up in flames. You know, I'm being destroyed. I'm being silenced. Essentially, I'm being made out to be the villain here. You know, you tried to pass me pain, but I'm taking you too. So, you know, you're trying to carry the same sort of burden that I am, but, you know, I'm carrying your burden as well. So, like, we're all in this together to sort of fight against this sort of shit. You know, when they hear my voice, promise I will freeze the flame. So, you know, even though they're going to try and silence me, I'm going to speak up and shout louder. You know, no matter what they do to me, I'm going to fight back. I'm going to make my voice heard, you know, and I'm going to quell this fire that they're trying to burn me, you know, they're trying to destroy me, and I'm going to silence it by speaking up and speaking louder and speaking more. You know, they can't silence me no matter how hard they try, sort of thing. Then it goes into the chorus. Nations hide their eyes, rose gold chains for us, but I smiled, didn't ask for it and never justified, we carry the world. Then it goes, nations hide their eyes, rose gold chains for us, but I smile, I didn't ask for it, and then back into the main chorus again. Nations hide their eyes, rose gold chains for us, but I smiled, didn't ask for it, and never justified, we carry the world. And that's that. So, like I said, it seems to be talking about, like, the corruption of government in the world, or, you know, people in power abusing their power to quiet people who are speaking out against them. That's what it suggests to me. I could be way off base. I could be completely wrong. If I am, please do correct me, you know, because, like I said, I could find very little information about this band. So, you know, it's one thing or another. You know, and the whole sort of allusion to the witch hunt of the people that speak out against these corrupt people in power. So that's where the Daughters of Witches comes from. So it's like these are like the descendants of the people that are speaking out against the governments, and they're going to carry on that tradition, if you will, of speaking out against these corrupt asshats. You know, so this is what I'm getting from it. But again, this is something that I said in a couple of previous videos. This is what I love about music. People can interpret things a different way. You know, what a song might mean one thing to one person, but it might mean something completely different to another. And this is why I love music so much. You know, I maintain that music is a universal language. You know, it doesn't matter where you're from. Music is a part of your culture. You know, and you don't even need to understand a song. You just need to listen to it and feel the emotion within the song, and you can appreciate the emotion that song's trying to convey, and it will impact you in that emotional way. So, you know, it's music is a great medium for expressing thought, and that's why I like to talk about it. That's why I like to talk about what the lyrics are about, you know, to try and understand the thought processes behind the song, to understand what the message is that they're trying to convey, and, you know, to start a conversation about it. You know, like I said, somebody might have a completely different idea about what the song is about. I might be completely wrong, and if I am, please correct me, but be polite. You know, please correct me, you know, because I want to know these things. This is why I talk about the lyrics specifically. That's why I do what I do, you know. So You know, I find it interesting and fascinating, you know, because almost every song I've looked at on this channel, you know, I've looked at close to 900 songs. Almost every single one of them has had some sort of meaning, story, or moral behind it. And I find that fascinating. I find it very, very interesting. And there are some people out there that don't take the time to understand what the song is about. You know, they might hear a song and go, yeah, I like it. You know, it's a good song. It's got a good groove to it. You know, it might sound like the happiest, cheeriest song in the world, but if you actually pay attention to the lyrics, it might be one of the sort of most darkest, depressing songs you've ever heard, you know. And that's why I like to investigate these things. But yeah. Anyway, I'm waffling on. I don't know what else I could actually say on that song. Like I said, the actual performance itself was brilliant. You know, the musicality of it, the vocal performance, a very strong, very powerful vocal performance. You know, you could hear the bass line throughout the entire song, which was really nice. You know, it was a really crisp, nice sounding bass, really chunky, heavy music. It sounded really, really good. And considering how young these people are, you know, it's an impressive effort, and I like it. So yeah, if anybody can suggest anything else by this band, please let me know. I'm curious. You know, I like to explore a band. You know, I've said many times I don't want to judge a band by just one example of their music, and most of the time as well I've said that is because I haven't liked a piece of music. But I do like to sort of get an overall idea of who a band are, you know, because for all I know, and I'm not saying this is the case, for all I know, this might be the only good song by this band. You know, I've had that sort of situation before where I've heard a song by a band and I've gone, oh, I bloody love that song. And I've gone and got the album, and that is literally the only good song on the album, you know. So I like to get an idea of who a band are. So, you know, if anybody has any other suggestions for any other tracks by Freeze the Fall, please let me know. But that's all I can really say on that. So, yeah, I'm going to leave that as it is. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like or a subscribe if you haven't already, because it really, really would help me out. You know, I've been doing this for about 6 years, and as it stands, not even 3% of people are actually watching my videos. Or not even 3% of people are actually subscribed who are watching my videos. You know, and that's a little bit disheartening because, as I was just saying, you know, I like to think I bring something different than most other reactors. You know, I like to talk about the song rather than just listening to a piece of music and going, yeah, it was good, it was okay, or no, I didn't like that, you know, which is what most reactors do. You know, I like to talk about what the song is about. You know, I like to explore it. I like to open a dialogue and have a conversation about what people think the song itself might be about. You know, and I find that interesting. I find it fascinating. I thought other people might, you know. So, you know, I'm kind of hoping that that would draw people in, make people, well, not make people, but yeah, sort of, you know, hopefully sort of make people think about, what does this song mean to me? What do I think this song is about? And then, you know, start a conversation about it. You know, that's the sort of thing I wanted to do. So, you know, if you could like and subscribe, it would really, really help me out. It doesn't cost you anything, takes a fraction of a second, and it would make the biggest difference to me and this channel. But, yeah, that's all I've got for you this time. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.